PogChamp is a word used to refer to this particular expression, named after this man who famously made said expression. In addition to some other stuff, he's known for participating in a championship of Pogs. Pogs is a game that involves these caps to bottles used to sell juice called Pog, an acronym of its main ingredients, Passionfruit, orange, and Guava. Passion is of Latin origin, an Indo-European language. It's cognate with the English word fiend. Orange traveled through a number of languages, but at the bottom of the tree are the Dravidian languages located in southern India, and the Guava, which is native to the Americas, is from an Arawakan language, Taino. This one word is derived from 3 language families. That's pretty good. But can we do better? Now, more than anything, it would just be ineffective to go about this without a plan. So what is it about PogChamp that makes it a golden boy for this metric? What does it do so right? Well, there are 2 main things. One, it's an acronym. Obviously, you can't be etymologized back to multiple language families if you aren't a combination of multiple words. Portmanteaus would work for this too. And number 2, which is a bit trickier, is just that it is a fruit drink. Bringing in an Indo-European element is easy, but you also need foreign words. And what are the most common foreign loanwords? Place names, animals, and plants. A fruit drink is probably going to be the best we can get. But I'm writing this section ahead of time, so what do I know? My first thought was gaydar, a 5-letter acronym combined with a word. That's got to go somewhere, right? Well, unfortunately, radar is only 4 words, and one of them is and, so only 4 words total, and all of them are from Indo-European. Not only, but all of them existed in Old French. Ouch. Well, I'm still thinking a neologism is the way to go, so next up to bat, let's go with soyjak. Wojak is from Polish, meaning warrior, and it's from PIE. Soy is from soy boy, which is from soy milk, which is from soybean, which is from soy, which is Japanese. That's still only 2 language families. Let's go further. Aramaic is an Afro-Asiatic language and the source of the name Thomas, so tomfoolery for 2 families, but 2 is chump change. Any idiot can combine 2 languages and get a word. I need all 3. I need more than 3. So let's do a geography one. African American, the suffixes "n" are from Indo-European, and Africa is disputed. It's from Semitic in any case. The conventional wisdom is that America is from Amerigo Vespucci, but this is weird for a couple of reasons. For one thing, America is a Latinized feminine version of his name, and it's his first name rather than his last. Some people prefer the story of the Emerisk Mountains in Nicaragua, which would make it Mayan. So that's 3, if a very weak 3. Siouan Catawban, a language family, offers us a less ambiguous 3, with Catawban being an endonym and Sioux being an exonym from the Algic Ojibwe. PIE, as usual, provides the dangly bits, but that's cheating and stupid. Enough messing around. It's time to go through this logistically. Find every single available word and search for every time it is involved in another word, starting with locations. The Delmarva Peninsula is located in Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia, hence the name. A lot of U.S. states are named for the diverse language families of America, but these 3 are not among them, and instead are all named for European aristocrats. However, the name Mary is a Greek rendering of the Aramaic name Miriam, which is a second language family. Delaware's etymology is a bit more unclear, but the solutions are Gael, ultimately from PIE, Gwern, ultimately from PIE, or Virectum, ultimately from PIE. Virgin is also a bit confusing, but we generally think it was from, you guessed it, PIE. If it's correct, then Virgo and Berga are doublets in Spanish, so that's cool. Now, there are a number of cities named after state borders: Texarkana, Calexico, Florida, Mexicali, Mitchell, Wisconsin, Ileana, but as it turns out, there's a lot more edge than corner in the US, but we do get Arklatex, derived from Siouan, Indo-European, and Caddoan. Arklamis swaps Caddoan for Algic. Armorel, a city in Arkansas, is Siouan, Algic, and IE, using an entire name as an entry. Calnavari brings in more tricky ones. Arizona is possibly from Basque or Uto-Aztecan. Nevada is firmly PIE, and California is kind of a made-up word that's also probably inspired by the Arabic term caliph, but most states that share a border also share an etymology because of how things work, so I guess we've exhausted all remaining possibilities in the US. Let's go worldwide. Pakistan is an acronym of 5 different provinces, all of which are, you guessed it, Indo-European. More distantly, a region in the Philippines bears the name Calabarzon, derived from its 5 provinces. 2 are Tagalog, 2 are Spanish, and 1 is ultimately from a Chinese language. So there's 3. Soxargan, another region of the Philippines with a much worse name, swaps out Hokkien for Arabic. So that was a bust. I mean, Yes, we did match PogChamp, but none of them are thrown around as casually. So moving on to the next category, plants and foodstuffs. Back to soy. Soylent is derived from soy and lentils, lentils being derived from a pre-Indo-European substrate, with green for IE, that's 3, but it's also definitely 2 words. Coca-Cola is derived from 2 loan words. Coca is from somewhere in South America, and cola is from somewhere in Africa. Unfortunately, it doesn't actually have anything from Indo-European, so it's still just 2. Ketchup, made primarily from sugar and tomatoes, originated from a pickled fish paste eaten in China and with a Hokkien name. Heinz, a famous sauce manufacturer, has recently been combining its sauces, so perhaps a name can be found there. Sriracha is Thai, chili is Nahuatl, barbecue is Taino, mustard and ranch are both Indo-European. Buffalo and mayonnaise are interesting. Buffalo is named after the city, which is named after the river, which is named after the animal. This word is Greek, but possibly pre-Greek. Mayonnaise is difficult to trace, though one theory puts it back to a city in Minorca, which has a Punic name. The real problem is that there aren't any sauces combining 3 or more, so if anyone wants to combine sriracha, chili, barbecue sauce, and ranch dressing, and call it Sri Barbaranchili, you can score the first 4-pointer. Until then, the search continues. In that vein, it seems like portmanteaus in general are not the best idea. People are rarely combining more than 2 words together. Well, there are a few cases, but they don't hit multiple language families. It is worth mentioning Coca-colonization, which finally slots in an Indo-European route. So over to acronyms. BRAT, along with the many jokes I could make here, is an acronym for a diet consisting of bananas, which is from Wolof, maybe ultimately from Arabic, rice, which is said to take the same path as orange and ultimately from Dravidian, and applesauce and toast, which are homegrown in the Indo-European languages. That's 3. All right, enough of this. Clearly, this is going nowhere. It's time to just look at every acronym in English. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives is traced back to IE Semitic and probably somewhere in the Caribbean. The Canadian Jewish Congress has Iroquoian, Semitic, and Indo-European, or should I say had, they're not a thing anymore. Jockey is a very convoluted derivative of John, an Aramaic name, and disc is possibly of pre-Greek origin. It lacks IE, but it's pretty easy to just conjugate any words that are missing that. GORP, an acronym for the ingredients of trail mix, involves raisins and peanuts. Raisins can be traced back to Latin, but the trail goes cold there, and it's likely from some substrate language. Peanut is expectedly from pea and nut, but it's possible that that's a crawfish situation, and it's actually from an African language. Holmes, a mnemonic for memorizing the 5 Great Lakes, contains Iroquoian, Algic, and IE. IOM, a soybean designation involving 3 states, contains Iroquoian, Algic, and IE. JEDP is an acronym for the sources the Bible is derived from. In some theory, I didn't look too much into it. Priest and Deuteronomy are both easily IE, and Elohim is Semitic, but Yahweh is hotly contested. The most common explanation is that it's related to the Hebrew root to be, but it's also claimed to be the true name of Jesus Christ, so it could be from the Adamic language, or Proto-World, which the Malaysian Chinese Association is probably from Malaysian and Chinese sources, as well as Indo-European. MILF, which of course stands for the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, clearly has IE and Semitic roots, but Moro, which is cognate with Mauritania and Moor, is from a Greek word for black, which may be of pre-Greek origin. The word person, and more dubiously people, can be traced back to Etruscan, a pre-Indo-European language. From there, we have the People's Democratic Republic of Yemen, People's Republic of China, and Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Roy G. Biv contains the previously discussed orange, and violet is from a pre-Indo-European substrate. SMZ, or Silver Mount Zion, uses IE in a Semitic place name, and the English word silver is what's called a Vandavut. We're not sure where it comes from, but it's not Indo-European. In the same acronym, Saber Marionette Z uses our first Uralic word from Hungarian, a French suffix, and once again the Aramaic Mary, Miriam. Z can either be traced back to English, Greek, or Phoenician. The Turks and Caicos Islands are named after a cactus shaped like a fez, the word Turk being passed back and forth, but ultimately from Turkic, and Caicos being an endonym from the Taino. The etymology of ninja is strange and relies on an understanding of Japanese that I lack, but it's definitely from Japanese. Turtle is also confusing. It's ultimately from the Greek Tartarus, which is named after Tartessus, which could be from Semitic or a pre-Indo-European language spoken in Iberia. Or perhaps Homer just made it up. Either way, it's more than 2. And that's it. My well of acronyms to check has run dry, and POG remains undefeated. There's no happy conclusion here, just despair and agony. Unless you count Jagatsta Quafty,